Our attention now turns to the retiring moderator, the very Reverend Shaw Patterson, though very retiring are not words I would ever use to describe him. Shaw, you have had the most amazing year, and you have been a great ambassador for our church. On behalf of the General Assembly, I thank you. I also thank your wife, Christine, and your chaplains, Robbie and Robert, who have all been an invaluable support to you. I've read your regular posts on Facebook especially carefully, and for the last few months, I've had access to the moderator's online diary. So I know it has been a very busy 12 months. So many visits and opportunities, so many people and places, so much that you have learned, so much encouragement that you have given, building up the people of God, with the odd DIY project thrown in. I know that your trip to Kenya and Malawi was the highlight, and you inspired many of us to light a light for school children and university students in Zomba. As I've already said to you, when this General Assembly ends, take a rest, have a holiday, spend time with family and friends, enjoy that family wedding before returning recharged to your folks in Straven and parish ministry. Shaw. Hadn't turned the page, so I've got one more sentence. We thank you and ask God's continuing blessing upon you. Well done, good and faithful servant.
Did you miss me? Moderator, as you know, time is at a premium, and everything this morning and all week, but particularly this morning, is given a set number of minutes. So I would like to thank the Principal Clerk, not only for all the support over the year, but for granting me an additional 10 minutes, enabling me to speak on for half an hour as part of the things. I daren't look round because I can only imagine the facial expressions. Seriously, what a year, what an honour, what a privilege to have served the church as moderator. From the day I was told and throughout, I have commented that I felt that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to say, you'll never guess, I've just had a strange dream that I was moderator. Well, tomorrow morning, when I wake up, that will be true. I've been asked what's been the highlight. Difficult to answer. I really enjoyed the assembly. I've preached in what is termed the largest slum in Africa. And a few weeks later, I was at Crathy, having stayed in Balmoral. I've attended many wonderful events, and I've been part of so many occasions. However, the highlight has been meeting the people in parishes all around the country. We hear so much negativity about the church. These are challenging times, as I said in worship. But there are so many good news stories out there. There is mourning. There is grief over well-loved buildings, and that needs to be acknowledged. But I've seen so much to encourage and enthuse me from congregations who are worshipping, serving Christ, and reaching out into their communities. This we must celebrate and shout from the rooftops. It's been a privilege of a lifetime to walk alongside you, worship with you, listen to your stories, and witness the countless ways in which God is at work in the Church of Scotland. A particular highlight of this year was our visit to Malawi, a journey that was more than geographical. It was spiritual, emotional, and deeply humbling. There, among our partners in faith, I was reminded that, again, that the church is not confined by borders. The hospitality, joy, and unwavering trust in God shown by our Malawian sisters and brothers will remain with me always. And that was echoed in Kenya also. Another thing that will remain with me is how congregations across Scotland have raised, and I think we're in the excess of £35,000 now. Your generosity has meant that will mean that children can do their homework at night, that families can gather in safety, and that churches can continue their mission after the sun has set, light in darkness, both literally and spiritually. Thank you for being part of that miracle. My claim to fame. Another story from Africa. I was given a tracker so my every step could be followed in 121, and I trust every moderator gets such a tracker, and it wasn't just because I was a boy from Lanarkshire. And in opening a brand new bridge, which wasn't on the map, I kept walking back and forwards over this bridge. And Carol Finlay, who was with us, said, "What are you doing?" My reply, "The bridge doesn't exist on the map in the church offices." Can you imagine the comments? This moderator can walk in water. If only. Then there was a miracle, or miracle in reverse, performed at the place where St. Columba first stepped foot on Scotland. An outdoor communion where it rained so hard that the wine in the goblet literally turned into water. I mentioned at worship earlier about the thought of trying to get a live chicken through airport security. Well, I did get a frozen leg of lamb through security on my trip back from Shetland. But what I didn't get through security was a flick knife. Being taken to the side by security at the Scottish Parliament and trying to make the case that I do not possess such a thing, and I still can't see how the moderator's cross could be mistaken as a flick knife. So give yourself extra time, Rosie, when you visit the Parliament. There are so many stories I could tell, too many for the 45 minutes the Principal Clerk has granted to me this morning. But I better move on. And before I say a proper thank yous, our convener, Michael, where is Michael? He's over here. Remember that Teams call when you wanted some information for the report, and my response was, "Please don't thank me. I would rather use the space to thank everybody else who supported me." You partially ignored that, but I do appreciate your thanks, but they are undeserved. A couple of weeks ago, an ecumenical colleague mentioned, "Your days are numbered." My reply was hopefully not in the eyes of the Almighty. But when that day does come, I've left instructions that there's to be no tribute, as I've done nothing to merit speaking about. Any achievements have been through the grace of God. I am but a servant of the church, called by God into the ministry. And so any achievements, any accomplishments, anything of note, it's not me that you should be thanking, but our Lord Jesus Christ. I must acknowledge the presbyteries I have visited, the southwest and the northeast and northern Isles, though it is worrying when you go onto a wee tiny ferry with 12 seats with individual seat belts. It's going to be a bumpy journey. You've given me, wherever I've gone, a welcome. You've given me an honest picture of the life of the church in your area. Thanks also must go to Crossreach, our social care arm. I've lost count of the number of facilities and services I have visited over the year, and I did tile one of their kitchens for them. That was a church in action, because I was able to do that, but I did it because they were the church in action, caring for some of our most disadvantaged in society. Thank you to Fiona. As I've already said, we've had some laughs, we've shared some frustrations. To the staff in the national offices for going the second and the third mile. And I don't want to single anyone out. I've needed so much help and support that they were always in hand, and the IT department have got bunting up, I believe. They don't have to fix another one of the moderator's issues with a computer. But I'm sure they'll understand if I do single one of them out, and I'm in trouble for this, I know. Catherine McIntosh, she's one of the most difficult jobs in the church, PA to the moderator. PA to this moderator, always on duty and in a very supportive way, has kept me right all year, and I will be forever grateful. Thanks go to the Chuckle Brothers, as they were christened last year, my two chaplains, Robert and Robbie. We've had fun, but it's been wonderful, and they've always been there to support and encourage and say, who do you think you are? To Christine and the family for keeping my feet firmly on the ground and for their support. It's been invaluable. And I have to say, they are the unsung heroes. To think about it, every weekend after a busy full-time working week, being with me wherever I was preaching. Moderator, apologies to the Principal Clerk for not using the full hour that she allocated for my speech. But last year I quoted and then paraphrased the then Lord High Commissioner, the Duke of Edinburgh, who had recently been appointed the Royal Colonel of the Scots Guards, who said, I accept with a degree of trepidation, as I will undoubtedly be measured against the formidable record and reputation of my predecessor, in my case, predecessors. I can only promise to do my best. I've tried to do my best, to always remember that it's the office of moderator that's important, not the office holder. I've represented the General Assembly and tried to be an ambassador of the church, to listen to congregations up and down the country, to thank and to encourage, all for the glory of God. Thank you. It's been an honour.